Manever I say ma PENDREAM TV. PENDREAM TV there, I see them yopo.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I rise to contribute to the report that has been laid and to state that at the outset, the committee raised serious objection to and concerns on the explanatory memorandum that accompanied the bill, and as a matter of fact, observed a far departure from the content of the bill relative to what the memo itself sought to do. Mr. Speaker, one of those very glaring discrepancy was a principle that the bill seeks to create the Office of the National Security Coordinator as an agency, as an intelligence agency, which we disagreed and thought that it was improper for the central role that the Office of the National Security Coordinator ought to play in coordinating decisions that are taken at the National Security Council. It ought not to be an agency, which was agreed upon by the sponsors of the bill and amendment consequently made. On page 6 of the report, Mr. Speaker, I refer you to page 6 of the report. The committee observed that the explanatory memorandum does not clearly set out policy objectives and underlying principles of the bill, nor does it adequately identify defects or mischief in existing law that the bill seeks to cure as required under Article 1062 of the 1992 Constitution. We thought that sufficient justification was not given to the particular mischief that the new bill sought to cure, and failure to provide sufficient justification for the mischief went to suggest that there may not even be a need for a new bill to overhaul or to repeal the existing one, and that specific amendment in Act 1030 could have sufficed. But that decision elicited further position from the sponsors and provided further information and policy clarity, which persuaded the committee to accept. But in furtherance to that, the membership or composition of the regional security councils and the district security councils, as noted on page 8 of the report, was problematic, and we observed that it wasn't in consonance with the directive, the policy directive as enshrined in Article 83 of the Constitution, which provides the framework for the composition of the National Security Council, from which we draw the composition of the security councils at the regional and district level, i.e. the proposed inclusion of National Insurance Authority, National Identification Authority, the National Ambulance Service, Narcotics Control Commission, and members of Parliament. The proposed inclusion that the policy sought to include at regional security councils and district security councils, we opposed and thought that was problematic and inappropriate, for which that needed to be looked at. And again, on parliamentary oversight, surprisingly, no provision was clearly indicated or no policy direction was given as to how parliamentary oversight of the intelligence function will be exercised, and for which the committee insisted an inclusion of a clause dedicated to providing mechanisms for parliamentary oversight of the intelligence sector. And that said, Mr. Speaker, the appointment of the minister that will be responsible for national security and by extension intelligence was a matter that needed serious clarity, because from practice in this country, reference to Act 526 and Act 1030, two schools of thought have existed. One school of thought that actually sought to create the Ministry of National Security, and another school of thought where a minister responsible for national security was appointed without the necessary creation of a whole bureaucracy for that function. And in order that in the passage of this bill, we would not come back in the shortest possible time for an amendment to be occasioned to that portion. We sought clarity and advised that we couch that provision in a way that will stand the test of time and will be able to serve those school of thoughts in the event that future presidents differ in principle. So that was agreed upon, such that in the current position agreed upon in this bill, the president would have the prerogative to appoint a minister, any minister, to be responsible for the function of intelligence and national security. Any minister at all may be appointed. And by interpretation, what that also means is that if any president so desires that he wants to create a whole bureaucracy for it, there would not be a need to come back to Parliament to amend that provision, and EI can be invoked for that to happen, to strengthen the resilience of this bill. That said, Mr. Speaker, on the appointment of the National Security Coordinator, we saw that no direction was given as to how the Deputy National Security Coordinator should be appointed, for which we raised concerns, because there's an incumbent Deputy National Security Coordinator, and we needed to seek clarity that at the promulgation of this law, some people may not have to lose their jobs, and that was also factored in. But one of the key areas of contention was the constitutional basis for which that appointment will be taken, whether the National Security Coordinator ought to be appointed under Article 195 or Article 70, considering the political nature. Over the years, we've all known that the roles of National Security Coordinator has always been conterminous with that of the president that appointed him. Even in times when you have had different presidents from the same party or government, we have never had a National Security Coordinator repeated. So we thought that then it should make sense for the incumbent to be appointed under Article 70. But that matter did not see consensus, and that in the subsequent life of this consideration, we will look at it and put it to bed. And so, Mr. Speaker, we recommend that the House takes this report, supports it, for us to pass a bill that will regulate the security sector governance of this country, particularly intelligence sector, and ensure that we have a creditable bill, a bill that will stand tall in the sub-region and supports the function of intelligence in this country to enhance our security. I thank you.
Proposal that you have to the bill, do so. You'll be invited by the winnowing committee, you justify it, and when it is agreed upon, it comes here to be integrated into the bill as part of the bill.
I fully understand. That's why if we hadn't put that question, I'm sure that this remark from you will not have come. You know that. That's why you asked him to see you privately. He was going to raise that matter. And it's a serious...
Well,
Mr. Speaker,
if what you are going to raise is a matter that has gone into second consideration or has gone into the bill, then I'm not ready to take it, because we can open a debate for second reading.
No, Mr. Speaker, what I seek to bring to your attention is the fact that from the minister's own submissions he made in respect of the policy direction accompanying this bill or underpinning this bill, it's a complete departure from...
Honorable member, we have already debated second reading, so kindly resume your seat. Please resume your seat. Kindly resume your seats. Well, members, the chair should not be taken for granted. Certain things are very annoying. So if I keep on admonishing you, you take the admonishing. Honorable members, it is not always the case that we should be taking liberty for license. How long,
Mr. Speaker,
do we debate a second reading of a bill?
Mr. Speaker,
Would the backbenchers listen to leadership?
You listen in silence.
There is minority leader.
Speaker, there is a reason why you are called father, and you are a father once you resume that chair. So, Mr. Speaker, please bear with us. You know, in this chamber, you specialize in the rules. When you came in 2013, your main work in this chamber, you are known for your industry when it comes to the rules. So, Mr. Speaker, the extent of knowledge and understanding you have when it comes to the rules, Mr. Speaker, at the risk of saying it is unmatched, I must say that not many people may have that. So, sometimes when these things come up, it is not to undermine you or to upset you. But Mr. Speaker, you bear with us. We are your children. We are your children. You know, there was a prophecy. I know that prophecy will come to pass someday. You know, let it be that when that day comes, all your children will say, Father, oh Father. So, Mr. Speaker, I beg of you. Our colleague had come to me earlier to raise the issue, and I said that he should seek your guidance, but perhaps he should have maybe done a backdoor engagement before speaking to Hansard. But he meant well. He meant well, Mr. Speaker. He had actually come to me reading the memorandum accompanying the bill, and raised that technical concern. So, Mr. Speaker, I think it's more about the approach. But you also know that, Mr. Speaker, sometimes in equity, form gives way to substance. Form gives way to substance. So he's sorry if he created that impression. But Reverend, Mr. Speaker, Reverend will never, Mr. Speaker, Reverend will never disrespect you. He will never do that. So please, Mr. Speaker, let's
I don't know how the chamber was created. When you are sitting here and people speak, you hear. So when I heard it, advisedly, I said you can come and seek my guidance outside. Because when you debate the principle accompanying a bill, a second reading, and the bill has passed that stage to a consideration stage, you don't raise any issue about the principle. It is not done. I would have taken it lightly if it is a backbencher. But he's a senior man of the house. So advisedly, when I'm telling you, come and engage me outside, you would have taken a cue. And I even went further to say that if what you are going to raise is a matter that ought to have been considered as second reading, then I don't urge you to raise it. Where on earth, in which democracy, will you pass through a second reading stage of a bill, yet there will be a guidance seeking on the principles accompanying the bill? Honourable members, let's all do the right thing and let's take a cue where we are supposed to take a cue. For me, I can be undermined, but posterity will be the judge. Yes. Let me hear you, Majority Chief Whip. Yes.
Speaker,
it's our duty to help you maintain order in this house. Speaker, the minority leader is called to order sometimes. The majority leader sometimes also called to order. As for the whips, we get it often. So I am worried that no, we must call attention to it. This is not the first time. The Honorable Ntim Forjor couldn't have left the chamber throwing his arm towards the speaker and walking out. He cannot do that. This is not the first time. He cannot do that. The cameras will bear us out. He can't be leaving the chamber and throw his left arm at the speaker. The speaker presiding is the speaker presiding. He left the chamber and came back to gather his books. It's unacceptable. It's a disorderly conduct. And we must call him to order. It's not the first time. It's not right.
Honorable
It is not
Majority
right.
Chief Whip.
So I will leave it here.
Yes, Honorable Majority
But
Chief Whip.
it's improper.
Honorable Majority Chief
Mr.
Whip.
Speaker.
It's been said that to err is human.
Mr. Speaker, thank
To
you.
forgive is divine.
Divine.
Sometimes I believe strongly to forgive can be diabolical. But in the circumstances, I will just let it go and then we make progress. So let's make progress.
Speaker, in the circumstances, we pray that we call motion number 21, Mr. Speaker.
Yes.
Speaker has pronounced on the matter.
Yes, indeed, that he's made a general pronouncement to end the matter. But, Mr. Speaker, this is a House of Records. My colleague did not leave the chamber throwing up his hands in disrespect.
Honorable Minority Leader, I beg you, don't go there for us to ask that the video be shown. So
Speaker,
please,
let me finish.
let's end it.
Mr. Speaker, let me finish.
Let's end it here.
Mr. Speaker, let me finish. You've spoken. You have spoken. You always call on others to listen to you in silence. You've spoken. Mr. Speaker, the colleague left and engaged the chair of the Security and Intelligence Committee. Mr. Speaker,
So, honorable members,
Mr. Speaker,
let this bring us to the end of the consideration stage so that they can till the meat. For now, we come to the end of consideration stage of the Security and Intelligence Bill 2025. So, Marshal. Minority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, the chief whip of the
Dedi kama mamena PENDREAM TV ase. Na so far so good. Say open online portal e wo Ghana. Ah nipa share, nipa follow, nipa comment here. To my best of knowledge, without any biases, PENDREAM TV.